The American Cancer Society has released some new data showing survival rates in the number of cancer cases.
And that data has some positive aspects, but also shows that the fight is not over.
Well, 9 News medical expert Dr. Kohli is joining us with some of those details. Can you give us an update on cancer survival rates? Where does that stand right now?
Yeah, so the American Cancer Society puts out this report pretty much every year to tell us how we're doing. And cancer survival is the highest that it's ever been. So that's the big news here. I mean, it's a cause for celebration. So if an American gets diagnosed with cancer today, their chance of surviving is about 70%. And this is all cancers, yes. And we're going to have 2 million Americans in 2026 who are going to get diagnosed with a new diagnosis of cancer. Now, this is up 34% from 1991 when it was at its worst. And it includes both cancers that have spread at diagnosis and those that haven't. So I think this is huge. I mean, really a chance to appreciate the fact that we've made so much progress.
And that gives me a lot of hope, right? So that is great news. What contributed innovation-wise to this rise?
Well, the biggest thing, believe it or not, is the fact that we've given up smoking. Smoking has now become taboo. That has made a huge impact on deadly cancers like lung cancers. The other thing is we've made better screening, right? So most of us are now thinking about screening ourselves for cancer. We're not just passive about it. And then, of course, a lot of new treatments have come out. But I think what I love about this, ladies, is that it's gone from a death sentence to being something that's more of a chronic diagnosis. I mean, imagine if you heard today that you had the C word, how would you react?
I can't
right?
even imagine. Yeah.
But that's not how it needs to be anymore. It needs to be empowerment and say, early detection, early diagnosis, and we can beat this with better treatments. Now, unfortunately, we're seeing an increase in cancer in young people, but certain types of cancers are going down in young people. So what we're seeing is that cancer is changing its footprint. It's changing the way that it behaves, and we have to figure out why that is, and environmental factors or toxins or what have you.
Well, cancers are different. I guess when you look at them, is there still a cancer with a greater risk of dying or the greatest risk?
Yeah, so they've ranked the top 3. So in 2026, the cancer that's most likely to kill people, lung cancer, followed by second colorectal cancer, followed by third pancreatic cancer. In fact, if you look at the pancreatic cancer survival rate overall, 17% compared to 70% for cancers overall. So to your point, Alex, we really have a lot of work to do when it comes to specific cancers and really bridging that gap, because these are high-risk cancers, and some of them are really hard to diagnose until they've progressed.
And what about skin cancer? Because I know here in Colorado, you've talked about it, we have a higher risk of developing skin cancer here.
Yes, much higher risk per capita. We have more radiation because we're a mile high. We spend more time outdoors. And it's sad for me to say that skin cancer is actually expected to go up this year by about 11%.
Why?
That's melanoma. And I think you're spending more time outside. Perhaps that's it. Maybe we're there's a lot of mis and disinformation about sunscreen as well. But if you look at the last decade, skin cancer diagnoses annually have gone up 47%. Now, some of that is we're picking up more skin cancer too, because we're getting better about screening, but some of it is, I think, increased exposure. So we really have to be mindful, because skin cancer is the most common cancer, and it's one of the most preventable cancers out there. And the fact that it's still increasing despite all the knowledge out there, that scares me, because I think there's a lot of mis and disinformation about sunscreens causing cancer. So a lot of people have now kind of given up on sunscreens altogether. Still tanning is trendy. So that needs to change, because skin cancer continues to be one of those that we really have to fight.
Any new developments on the horizon when it comes to research or screening? I mean, tell us what's going on now.
Tons of really exciting stuff. So we're talking about polygenic risk scores. So looking at your genetics, putting you into an AI model and telling me what kind of cancer you're going to go on to develop, so that I can actually treat it before it even happens. Doing something called liquid biopsies, which means instead of waiting for a tumor, and tumor has to be pretty big for it to start getting detected and being reactive, we start taking a drop of your blood and checking for thousands of cancer markers.
Wow.
Microscopic cancer markers that are being leaked by microscopic cells and pick up tiny little cancers before you even have them. And of course, with treatments and vaccines, we're looking at cancer vaccines making a huge difference, not just for recurrent cancer, but even potentially first-time cancer, starting to vaccinate people to train their immune system to recognize cancer. So I think the fight against cancer continues to be a hard one, but I'm really excited because there's so much technology looming on the horizon. One thing we have to walk away with, though, empowerment, right? We have to get screened.
Yeah.
And so no matter what your age, figure out what screenings you need. It could be skin cancer, it could be, breast cancer, colon cancer, cervical cancer, all the cancers out there. Just make sure you get them done, because that's how we're going to win this fight.
Great information, very encouraging news. Dr. Kohli, thank you so much.